All right, let's get started. Welcome to everyone. This is Sunday afternoon Tai Chi at the dojo, or whenever or wherever you choose to do it. So if you're new, so there could be some new people because the meetup group, we put a link at the meetup group to come here, and this is where, and meetup group is usually where we get a lot of new people, but if you're brand new, this is sort of a cafeteria style Tai Chi class. We do a little bit of this, we sample a little bit of that. Some you may care for, others you don't like as much. This won't be like, our form is not like anything you've probably ever seen unless you know a whole lot of forms. It's the 88 San Sau form that we're practicing. Right now we're just doing a movement called wrapping the pole. And if you've been with us for a long time, remember, going back to basics is always a good thing. So whenever we practice something that we've done a million times, this is your chance to explore it more deeply and to peel back the layer of the onion to expose a new layer. So for instance, our shoulders are always getting a little looser, the arms swinging a little more freely, the power translating from the floor up through our legs, out through our waist, out through the shoulders, so that we're not doing some sort of river dance. This is not river dance. This is just flinging the arms, really good for you. And as always, if this doesn't come naturally, doesn't come easily, it's probably because you're holding a lot of tension in your body. And if you're holding a lot of tension in your body, it may be because you have a lot of pain. So I'm not going to say that you can just arbitrarily release all your tension, but we can try. So the other reason, if that's hard to do it, because you're storing a lot of tension in your shoulders. So we'll do some shoulder rolls. So you guys can always do more of these. You can do a few of these before you turn the video on so that you're already kind of pre-warmed up. Another thing you can do, which I wished I had done for a long, long time, is you can sit or stand in meditation before you even press play, so that your mind is ready to absorb what we're going over. Because it's not easy, and the more you relax, or the more relaxed you are, the better. So let's go around the other way. So if you're having problems understanding some of the movements, or maybe even some of the concepts, it may just be because your mind is a little bit elsewhere, and I understand that too. I have no idea what you were doing before you pressed play on this video, or I have no idea what you're supposed to be doing later today or this evening that may be weighing heavily on your mind, right? So it's very hard to center yourself in the present moment, just right here and right now, but it's worth the effort, and again, it's really good for you. So let's do each shoulder independently. So shoulder rolls by themselves are not really Tai Chi, but when we get into some more complex movements, it does translate directly to things that we do in our practice. Let's reverse that. So let your body move freely. Even though we are focusing on the shoulders, let your body to twist and turn however it wants. Let's try going one shoulder forward, one shoulder backward. Remember when we first started doing this, it was very difficult. Let's reverse that. And then let's see, even more difficult, there is still some symmetry in that. What if we were to move each shoulder at a different rate? It's much harder. It's harder for your brain. Your shoulder doesn't care. Let's reverse that. Reverse which shoulder is moving more than the other. Just reverse everything. Yeah, that's very strange. Okay, now move up to our neck, look up and down, nice and gentle. Look side to side. So these things we're doing here, remember, just do them throughout the day. Don't feel any need to wait until you're doing your Tai Chi practice, okay? Okay, look straight ahead, tip the head from side to side. But don't feel like you have to do these warm-ups. If you just feel like practicing your form just for fun, you don't have to do any warm-ups. You can do it anytime you want. So massage the neck and shoulders, because there's only so much we can do with movement. Okay, excellent, excellent. So how about let us do. So remember, we like to move the spine just in one plane of movement. Why don't we do one of our teacup exercises, and this will bend and flex the spine front and back in the sagittal plane. So, and it also does wonders for the shoulders and the arms. So remember, the first time we do this, don't do hardly any at all. I'm going to do this from several angles. Oh, and I'll put on gloves now so you can. This is going to be symmetrical. Both hands are going to be doing the same thing, but just in case we do something different. So just so you know, my left hand has the yellow reflective high vis yellow, and the right hand is blaze orange, but you're going to be just mirroring what I'm doing, so don't worry about it. So remember, we have our imaginary cups of tea, and I'm going to offer the tea behind me, and then I'm going to offer it out to the sides. So the first time, take it nice and easy on this. When I bring it around to the center, I'm bending. I'm doing a back bend here, opening the shoulders, chest and heart. When you bend your back, you want to engage your abs to protect your lower back. We'll do it again. I'll turn from a different angle. So this is one good thing. Only one good thing about these videos is we'll get a bunch of different angles. I guess the other thing is you can pause as much as you want. You can replay as much as you want. I wouldn't replay it until I was sure that I'm not going to do it again. So there's a forward fold, and then through the shoulders, a little back bend. Why don't I face away from the camera? I don't care. This might be helpful somehow. I'm starting to warm up so I can do a little more each time. You can let your arms cross here if you want. Doesn't make any difference. So that's every angle, so I'll turn back to the front. We'll just do one more. And I'll show you what I meant by the arms crossing in front. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to, instead of coming around like this, I'm going to let them cross. One of my favorite movements. And let's just stand and meditate, because I mentioned meditating. Let that movement sink into your body. You're still holding your cups of tea. You can feel the chi, a lot of chi in your hands. Notice anything that you might feel about your body. Maybe you're more exhilarated than you were half hour ago, maybe more relaxed. Okay, let's move on. Let's do more of a side stretch or a side bend. Very few in Tai Chi and Qigong. There's one called Heavenly Girl Scatters Flowers. It's a very simple movement, but it gives you a big side stretch. So again, you don't have to do you can mirror what I'm doing because the right and the left of it are exactly the same. So we just come up to holding like a big ball or like a big basket of flowers, I guess, and then the Heavenly Girl just sort of scatters the flowers. You can look at me or you can look to the side. It doesn't make any difference to me. Remember, you're really holding something here, and you're feeling a lot of side stretch here. Not too much, though. We'll go from side to side. So the first time, do very little, please. Turn to the other side. So there's variations, there's many variations. Remember, there's variations of everything, but some things there's a lot of variations. Let's see, I've seen people lift a leg here. This is the inside leg. If we try it on one side, have to try it on the other. I'm not a big fan of balances in the middle of a side stretch because if you lose your balance, you might pull something here, but you can just try it, right? And then another thing I've seen quite a bit is when I come over to this side, I sink all my weight into that inside leg and step this foot back. The sole of my foot is facing up. There's no weight on that foot, but just enough to steady me a little bit. If you weren't allowed to use it to steady yourself, it would be up in the air, right? So maybe you could do that, or you could set it down. But remember, the main point is just a little side stretch here and bending the spine in the frontal plane. And then we'll come back to center and then release the arms down. So you could do 10 of those to either side if you felt like it. Hit pause and knock yourself out. How about let's review some things from our form, which are very Qigong-like. You can turn anything from the Tai Chi form into a simple Qigong movement, right? So to give you an example, here's another great one that I can show you from many different angles. Okay, it's our first version of single whip in the form. So if you remember on the B side, so we step back, our right foot back, and then the left foot comes back into dragon pose, and then so here we go. So I'll come up. So our weight's back on our left foot, the right foot's forward, there's no weight on the right foot, and we start to get this circular movement with the left hand. We're going to do this a million times, so I'll break it down a little bit at a time. So there's a circular movement with my left hand, and a more or less of a front to back movement with my right hand. I'm just bending my right fingers a little bit so you can see the orange in that glove. Okay, so this is not an arm movement here and an arm movement here. That wouldn't be good Tai Chi. I'm turning my waist. That movement of the waist is coming out of my shoulders, and it's forming a circular movement with the left hand and a front to back movement with the right hand. And if you want to imagine what your partner's doing or what you're doing to your partner on the A side, is your right hand the orange hand is going right into their eyes. So I'm looking at, happen to be seeing myself in the mirror, and I'm just pushing my hand right into my own eyes in the mirror. And you can do that someday when we're back here at the dojo. Use the mirror as your imaginary partner. It's also, you can just, if you don't know where that would be, just imagine your own eyes and your own center line. Remember, you literally have, we always talk about trying to find our center. Well, you literally have a line going down your center. So it means more than that, but in its most basic element, we're staying on our center. Okay, so let's try the other side. Switch feet. The weight still is back. It happens to be on my right, my weight back on my right leg now. And the left hand is going to more or less move straight forward and back. But let's just get this whole thing going. So I'll just get crazy first, and then I'll just kind of like restrain it down into what we're doing. So this hand, the orange hand, is fingertips are together. This is called the dragon's head. And what it's doing, so the orange hand is dropping in and pulling a punch off to the side, where the high-vis yellow hand is poking our partner's eyes. So deflect and then poke. It's all one movement. Deflect and poke. Okay, so I promised to show you from different views. Okay, so it looks like this. I'm going to get really loose and exaggerate. Remember, you guys can be doing less. I'm doing more. So you can see. You guys can be doing a very compact movement. I'm going to switch feet. I switch feet and hands. Okay, so I don't see there's any point in me turning the other side, but that's our first version of single whip. We have another interesting version that's a big slap, and then of course the classic in the other forms is something like this. They all have their own application, and that's what makes them correct, is they're correct in their own application, and none of them are arbitrary. Anything that is handed to you arbitrarily can be rejected just as arbitrarily. So let's do another movement that might interest you, from one that you haven't been able to see clearly, because it's the one, we're going from strum the peepaw to inspect horse's mouth, and you're always behind me in this class, and so you probably can't see what's going on here, but now you can see it great. Okay, this again is my right hand. So we come into, let's just say we start in strum the peepaw, or some people call it play the guitar. Okay, and then we shift back into our back foot, and then the right toes come up, and then this is going to be extreme Bagua. I'm pivoting as far on the hip or on the heel as I possibly can comfortably. My arms just come down, and I'll show you what's going to happen with the arms in a second, but let's just do the pivot first. So I come around, step the left foot in and back, and then inspect horse's mouth. So maybe now you saw that in a way you've never seen it before. Let me tell you what the arms are doing. So our partner turns and pushes down on this arm, which is not a very good idea, because this arm can become very loose. I can get his hands off of me if I want very easily. So just by bending at the elbow and just swiping his hands off, right? So he pushes down. He's not really controlling this arm very well. If he wanted to control the arm, he would be at the wrist and elbow, but he happens to be here and here. So I come here, and And then what I can do, one of the applications would be if he has his hand here. So the easiest thing is swipe this hand away and go into there, right? Poke in protect yourself with this hand, poke with this hand into the eyes again, right? But another clever thing is if he's pushing down on this hand, I come here, I trap this hand here, and then bend the hand down, right? And then come to there, right? So, but we'll do another video back when we can have people together where I can show you how those things work. But just so you know, and that's just two ways of seeing it, and generally, so let me do this in a different view. So, strum the peepaw, shift back, big pivot, and then like something like that. Okay? We just did it facing there. We can do it facing here. This is the way you normally see me in class. How about, we did it, I think we did it in every direction. Let's just do it one more time here. Strum the peepaw, big pivot. Yeah, there we go. So that's it from just about every angle. In this particular case, I'm not going to do it on the left side because it's fairly complicated, and I'd rather have you master it in the way we're supposed to be doing it, and then someday we'll do it on the other side. So let's do our form now from the beginning, and I think if I'm back about this far, this should work. Hope you can see me. Okay, so we'll do the A side first. Okay, relax completely. Okay, if all goes well, you should still be able to see my head and feet as I approach the camera. And remember, when you're following along a form, don't get hypnotized by the hands. I would make sure that the proper foot is stepping up and that your weight transfer is correct first and your pivoting is good. So that's what I'll describe. So I sink into my right foot, slide the left foot up, left hand happens to come up leading with the back of the wrist. This is white snake darts out its tongue, slide the right foot through, and it's only when the feet stop moving that you can really develop your power, right? With this punch here, and then the left hand comes around, coming into 7 stars. This is just an implied movement. Half step up with the left foot, the right hand drops back to the waist, step the right foot up, and this is carry hammer. All right, great. Shift back. This is our version of white crane. Spreads her wings. I switch hands, big pivot of the right foot, and then white ape swings through branches, a form of a shoulder strike. Shift your weight back right again. Now pivot the left toes around, step the right foot up and over. What we're doing with our arms doesn't matter because our partner happens to be behind us and off to our side. So then elbow strikes the heart, and then shift right, ring the gong, and then we're going to do strike a tiger. So I'm actually going to step around and strike a tiger. Makes it a little bit more difficult. And then here's where we were before. Step the right foot in and up, and then strum the lute. Shift back, and here's where we're doing that, what we did before. Okay, so here. Okay, great. So from here, it's just a half step back with the right foot. Arms come down, out and down. Half step back with the left foot. Arms come out and up into dragon pose. We could go on, but we choose to stop here, but not until we make sure all our weight's on our left foot by at least attempting to pick up the right foot. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, excellent. So hit pause, take a little break, or we'll go right into our B side of the form. So I'm going to I'll start right here. Okay, so I'm facing west. We normally would face north. This way you'll be able to see me better. So here we go. Relax completely. Okay, start by shifting your weight into your left foot. And the right foot slides back. And as you shift your weight, you'll naturally turn to the right. You can still be watching your screen though. And then turn left, and that will pull the left foot in and back, and it will bring us up to dragon pose where we just were. And then we're going to do single whip that we just did. Remember that? Okay, step around, strike a tiger right. Okay, I'm all twisted up. The way to untwist is to continue to twist left, and that will pull the left foot in and back. It pulls the right hand back and down. This is pull. And then this is push. And then step up. And this is a shoulder strike. Okay, shift back. Hold this hoop in your hands as you pivot your right foot way around. Step the left foot in and back. Draw the bucket from the well. All right, then shift back. So this is the only part where you're not going to be able to look at your screen. So just follow along in audio. So I'm pivoting right, and then step the left foot in and back. My hands are in front of my chest, left palm up, right palm down, right where they were. Just do a downward push here, and then roll the left palm under. And then this is white snake, darts out its tongue. So open. Okay, so draw the left arm up, punch with the right, and then basically so we're good. And you could continue on. I'll just turn around. So I'm facing east now. If you wanted to continue on back over to the A side, you'd come to 7 stars and carry hammer, white crane, white ape swings through branches, and then you would do elbow strikes to heart, shifting right and shifting left, bring the gong. So step around to strike a tiger, strum the lute. We're doing the whole thing, I guess. Look at that. Inspect horse's mouth, and then come back to dragon pose, and there we went all the way around. Pick up this foot just to see if you can. Excellent. And we'll stop there. Great. So you know, if we wanted to, we could have gone back to the B side. Single whip, strike a tiger, pull and push, shoulder strike, draw the bucket from the well, downward push, etc. And you can do it over and over again, cycling through, if you wish. So hit pause, take another break, or we can do, so if you're not practicing your form, or you want something you can just do around the house, we could do circle walking. You can also do sort of an improvised form of stepping that you make up yourself, because at a certain point you're going to have to disconnect yourself from your forms and integrate what we're learning into your life. Otherwise, where's the value? So we already know that when the feet turn inward, this is called kobu, and then when they turn outward, this is baibu. But it works with one foot as well. So kobu, baibu, kobu, baibu. And most of our stepping, or most of our pivoting, we've been pivoting on the heel, but in this case, you pick the entire foot up. It's a very good skill to know. We need to add to our pivots, right? And eventually later in this form, we pivot on the ball of the foot too. But your basic pivot is on the heel, but you can also just, if your weight's really off this foot, you should be able to just pick it up. So we can do, I'll walk towards you. We could do, for instance, you could step out into Bagua and then step up into Kobu. And then what am I going to do? Well, I don't know. There's no rules. I can bring my weight off this foot and bring it around into Bagua. Step it around into Kobu. And you don't have to be going on a straight line, because if you're doing a straight line, you're making 90-degree pivots, which might be quite a bit, might be too much. So you can just, I'm just going to start doing less, just improvising. So that's Bagua, Kobu. Just do anything you want. Bagua, Kobu, Bagua, Kobu, Bagua, Kobu, Bagua, Kobu. It's always shifting the weight. This is really good for the hips. It's opening the hips up quite a bit. So anything you want. So you can practice this. It gives you something to practice around the house. And then you'll notice this more in a form, right? So if you think about it, so we go out to here, here. So far, so then this pivot, this is extreme Bagua. Come to here. We do another Bagua. Here, here, here. Remember another big Bagua there. So that's another thing to think about when you're doing your form. But you can't think about these things too much until you have memorized the form. Then you can allow your mind to wander to different concepts, to look at things happening within your body. But so that's a little improvisational stepping. And basically, that's all I wanted to show you today. So you can rewind to any part that you want to do more of. We will end with our favorite Qigong, lifting water. Remember, the arms come up just to the height of the shoulder. And then see how dropping the elbows sort of flattens the hands out, drawing them back to me. I'll turn sideways in a second. And then they come down. And then back up. And so that's my legs. So legs down, arms up, or you can start down, and so you can make a case for either way. Drive the arms up, or sink down and let the arms come up. Right? Great. All right, I will end with a saying from Lao Tzu, 600 BC. Nothing is softer than water, yet nothing can resist it. And thank you all for coming and watching. Spread the word to anyone who is not aware of these videos, and we will see you in person before too long, I promise you. Thanks again.